This is the ARTvocates podcast, brought to you by Streets Projects Foundation, Enugu Youth Entrepreneurship Network, supported by Voice Global.
This is the ARTvocates podcast.
Everything you put your hand go walk. Your name go open doors. You self go be.
Hi listener, how are you doing today? Thank you for tuning in on another episode of the ARTvocacy podcast. And my name is Ejen Maps, and I'm not alone in the studio today. The next voices you will be hearing are the voices of my fellow advocates. And I have...
My name is Ikechukwu Jamie Abadwe. I'm a spoken word artist and I'm a set designer also. So I'm glad to be here to talk about the problems facing Nigeria. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, hello there. My name is Ogochukwu Michael Chukwudi. Yeah, I specialize in the act of immortalizing moments through still image, known to you as photography. It's an honor to actually be here to discuss one of the social issues affecting mostly we the youth.
Gender has to be equalized. And I have an amazing lady in the house.
Yeah. Hello everyone out there. My name is Ajayi Oluokorede and I'm an actor. Well, it's a privilege to be here to be discussing some of the issues we face in Nigeria.
Yeah, my name is Nwachukwu Israel. I'm a graphic designer and I'm also happy to be here to talk about the issues facing Nigeria.
Welcome once again to the Advocacy Podcast. Today we'll be talking about an issue that is a global issue, an issue that is bothering us as Nigerians, as human beings, which is youth unemployment. So many unemployed youths, so many graduates unemployed. It is really a troublesome issue. Before we go further, what do you think is that definition of a youth?
Youth, I believe everyone should know, is an age range between 18 to 35.
Wow.
Youths between 18 to 35.
So people between the ages of 18 to 35 are youths.
Yeah.
So if we say they are unemployed, Ikechukwu, if we say youths are unemployed, what's your opinion?
Yeah, basically it talks about those same people between the ages of 18 to 35 that are actively seeking for jobs that does not have job at that moment. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So do you know that 1/3 of Nigerians are unemployed? And that's like 33.3%, which amounts to 23.2 million are unemployed. Can you see the massive number? It's just terrible. And I believe this thing started from one person before it grew up to this point. So definitely there are things that actually brought this whole stuff to this level now. I don't know. Michael, do you know one of the causes of unemployment?
Yeah, one of the major causes of unemployment to me is inadequate fund for job creators. Yeah, I use the term job creators because the pattern to which the government seems to be tackling this stuff doesn't work, in the sense that there are schemes developed by the government such as Shopee and the recent one now, which is Empower. I'm not against those stuff. My problem with this stuff is the fact that it's not sustainable. Shopee and whatever you called it doesn't have a sustainability plan, in the sense that, okay, let's do the current one now is Empower. What they do is they recruit youth, tell them to go and teach for some certain period of time, I think 1 year. So after that 1 year, what happens to them? They go back home and still search for job.
It's very funny. I've been hearing Empower. Today I just woke up with this update saying they will pay batch C. And I've been hearing this thing like since some months back. Like the programs they are just not feasible.
Yeah.
They are just not feasible. That's the truth. There are a lot of ideas. Youths have ideas out there, but no funds. No funds for them to push it. I think these problems really have to be resolved. What other cause do you think it's part of this unemployment issue, Moin?
Yeah, I would say poor quality of education. There are so many things under that. We have underfunding, we have low quality teachers, we have poor infrastructure, we have poor curriculum. God.
Yes.
As in,
True.
that poor curriculum, like our scheme of work, our school curriculum has expired long time.
It's very old.
Most of us we learn in school now cannot be used in real life.
True.
Yeah, most.
True.
And one thing is that, let's say we just go to school. Yes, we just go to school, but we are not educated. Because most of us, the teachers in school are just theory.
It's more of theory than
More of
practical.
theory, yes, God bless, thank you. More of theory than practical. And on the funding, teachers are unpaid. Teachers are not being paid at all. Teachers are supposed to be the best paid workers because of the work they do. Like, if they don't teach us, all these doctor, whatever, as in... And we have poor infrastructure as well. Lack of healthy learning environment.
True.
You see some school, like the school, God, I just pity all the science students in my school. Because my school has no lab. There's no lab in my school.
But they are doing science.
They're doing science, so they're doing science. All these acid base and this thing, everything. They don't know anything about it. They don't know anything.
So basically now, what you're trying to say is that we do theory and no practical.
No practical.
And practical is the real deal when it has to do with life.
Yes.
Do you know that a lot of employers right now, they have this thing and they say no graduates presently is employable. Why? Because the curriculum is not really teaching the in-demand skills. Things have changed, but the curriculum is just static.
Yeah.
It's just static. There is not. It's well.
Amen.
It's well.
Basically, you can use, if you're preparing for exam, you have to use question papers to pass question papers.
It's cool. They will tell you, just study your past questions.
Past question. Is the curriculum not changing?
And you know the truth, because of how steady the curriculum is, I used to read only past questions, and I know that there is just no way I will not pass 50%. There is just no way.
There's one slang we used back then in school: la cram, la por, la forget.
No, it's true. It's the truth.
Serious, that's what
Seriously.
Cram it.
Seriously.
Exam day, point it, then after is a
forget about it.
These days, students they read just to pass. They read to pass exams.
True.
And that is not how it's supposed to be, because if you're studying, you're supposed to be studying something that you love, and you're not just supposed to be reading for reading's sake. So the way the system is, the way the curriculum is, everybody's just reading, okay, let me just pass this exam and just forget about it. Yeah. So, and it's something that is really affecting us as youths.
Yeah, affecting us.
Yeah, I think it's really affecting us. It's really affecting us. The fact that there is unemployment, there will definitely be poverty.
Exactly.
There will definitely be poverty. There is just no way you just take that out and say, the rate of unemployment is high and then the rate of poverty will not be high. It's directly proportional. So these things really have to be checkmated. Like, they really need to look into these things properly. Ikechukwu, you say you are a set designer.
I'm a set designer.
Set design means you have a couple of skills, right?
Definitely.
So tell us, employers actually say skills are also one of the reasons for unemployment.
Okay, the thing is, as a set designer, you can not have that skills and still want to work as a set designer. So the thing is, skills mismatch. We really need to amplify what we are doing in our schools. We really have to, because I know I studied fine arts, but I'm actually...
Most of the stuff we study is basically not what we tend to practice in life.
Yes.
So the thing is, let's try and do what we are studying. Just for example, my friend got an admission in school. She actually wants to study banking and finance, but they gave her something else to study.
Imagine.
So just after school, she really wants to work in a bank, but just because of the course that she studied, she can't work where she has passions for. So I just want to employ those who are in charge to give the students what they actually want to study in school.
Okay. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts, your personal stories. Unemployment is really a major issue, and I think the system is also an issue.
Yes, it is.
The system is also an issue. We have a government that is not running at all. Israel, can you elaborate on that part?
Well, basically, the things that the government have put in place are not working. Like, as you said, these things they put in place, don't see to them being implemented. They just put them, and there's not even awareness. Like, some youths don't even know that these things exist. They don't know that they could apply for things like this. So I believe awareness should be made. If the government creates this type of opportunities, awareness should be made so that youths and people can know about these opportunities. And also, some of the funds, you hear that so and so was dedicated for so and so. You can't find it. You can't see it online. So these are the things. Corruption also is part of it, and these are the things that we really need to see change in this our government.
We really need to see change, and as advocates, all our drive is to see a social change in our environment. Hey listener, you've heard it. Causes of unemployment. There are also effects. Crimes. A lot of things happen with unemployment. Crimes. Poverty. A lot happens. I'll leave you with this. Poor education leads to limited innovation, leads to low quality of life, leads to talent attrition, and definitely leads to a failed system. We'll see you back after the break, while you'll be listening to a song by Maps called Cuckoo that said, why the social justice issues, why the killings, why the bloodshed, why bad government. See you after the break.
Maps of generation so One day, one night, I dey waka, I dey laugh with my friends. The next thing I hear, say that if one get for the other yard with your friend. I done this, I should make a car. I done the other side, I no fish out. What did I go do? Boy, it don't pass. But these memories will never leave my head. Why the bloodshed and why the killings everywhere? Say they paid me off. Why the stopping off for my destinies? Why the bloodshed and why the killings everywhere? Say they paid me off. Why the stopping off for my destinies? No, cuckoo, no, cuckoo, no. Cuckoo, no, cuckoo, no, cuckoo, no. They paid me off. No, cuckoo, no, cuckoo, no. Cuckoo, no, cuckoo, no, cuckoo, no. Say, Mr. Chairman, shey we don't vote you now, you don't dey chill, oh, oga. Say, Mr. Chairman, you dey enjoy while your people dey suffer. Shey you don't know you be killing all the young dreams, as you dey lose all the money they go. Say you don't know you be killing all them destinies, and you call them leaders of tomorrow. Why the bloodshed and why the killings everywhere? Say they paid me off. Why the stopping off for now? Destinies. Why the bloodshed and why the killings everywhere? Say they paid me off. Why the stopping off for now? Destinies. Oh, cuckoo, no. As we dey waka waka, Jah guide us. As we dey move in this place, Jah guide us. As we dey do our thing, Jah cover us. And many people want to promise us and fail. Oh. As we dey waka waka, Jah guide us. As we dey move this place, Jah cover us. As we dey waka waka, Jah guide us. Many people want to promise us and fail. Oh.
listening to
The ARTvocates podcast.
Welcome. That was an amazing song by Maps. And right now, we'll be looking at the solutions of unemployment. What are the possible ways to reduce the rate of unemployment? Michael, what do you think it's one of the possible ways to reduce the rate of unemployment?
Okay, being that availability of fund is one of the major reasons of unemployment, and the government has made it an habit to be going in circles, what they just do is just change the jersey of the particular scheme, like from Shopee to Empower, which I mentioned. So one of the solution I feel this could work is this: government should change the pattern to which they ask people to apply for their scheme. If you noticed, it's centered on the participant has to drop like their certificate or something, and school is not cut out for everybody. You can get educated, but not in the Nigerian schooling system. Like me being a photographer, for instance, I did not learn these skills while in school. I learned it outside school. If government could generate a means where there are creative centers, not necessarily photography, like graphic designing, music, like and all those. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if government could create something like this, you'll be amazed to the rate by which unemployment will be reduced. Former job is inadequate now. There's no job anywhere. Our president even said it himself.
Not true.
If you graduate with good grade, forget. There's no job anywhere. So the focus of the government should now be on job creators, who are what? The entrepreneurs of this nation. And how can you seek them? They can introduce some courses. On focusing on entrepreneurship stuff. That is like a big plus to them in the quest for reducing unemployment in Nigeria.
Well, it really help us.
And you know, there are people with ideas, like creative people, creative individuals who do not just have the means of displaying their creativity. Maybe they don't have funds, they don't have the equipment they use. You can see maybe a producer now or a photographer, maybe he doesn't have a camera, he doesn't have the things that he needs to pursue this creative aspects of his life. So the government should just basically create this kind of hub so that creative Nigerians, because this country, there are many creative people here in this country.
This whole thing lies on the government.
It lies
because
on
how would you say a senator is collecting 13.5 million as salary? 171 million annually, and we have 109 senators. And then you see a youth who has an idea that probably 1 million will give him a very good startup capital to do something reasonable, to even employ 100 more youths. It's greed. Like, there is so much greed in this system, and it just needs to be flushed out.
There's this saying, they say that people with ideas, they don't have power, but people that have power now, they don't have ideas. So that is basically what we're facing in this country, and change needs to happen.
Change needs to happen.
So we actually want the government to liaise with the youth and know what they want actually to further their skills. That's just what I think.
And on the part of education, the Ministry of Education, they really need to restructure their system. They really need to restructure their system.
As in, our curriculum is too poor. Please, we need a Minister of Education to look into that. And one more thing, these locality teachers called. The thing is, in Nigeria, but everybody can be a teacher without undergoing any training at all. You ask all these SS3 students, because mostly it's after your graduation now, SS3. So I'm a teacher. People are teaching because of the 10K they're giving them without. It's true. Even NYSC, God.
That's actually true.
I thought all these educated people, they used to wear this khaki. God, I was looking. Let's say she's a mentor to me, because I love her. I don't know that this auntie cannot put anything down. But this auntie no sabi anything, and she's a teacher. What if she won't teach the student? Please, no. All these NYSC clubs, not all of them should be sent to school.
Seriously, they should vent these teachers properly. It's so funny how a lecturer will come and tell you, if you like, pay attention. If you like, don't pay attention. If you are seeing the handouts, it's fine. If you are not seeing the handouts,
I'll just be reading out their
it's fine. Last, I'll get it.
Exactly. These things need to be changed.
You have handouts, you have materials that people can't see. You know very well people can't even read it for exams, for tests. But you still give it out. And you see if they can't read it, it's fine. Last, you get paid. What kind of mentality is that? So really, the government needs to work on this system.
Yeah, you see, another possible solution to this unemployment issue is this. The last time we experienced budget surplus. Yeah, budget surplus mean your earning exceeded your spending. That is your plan for that particular period of time. And the only time we experienced budget surplus was when agriculture was our major source of finance. To me, I feel black gold is a cost to Nigeria, because ever when we discovered crude oil, what's happening? More attentions are being focused on crude oil.
Yes. And you know
there is no much distribution. Wealth is not being distributed, rather it's being centralized. Okay, our budget is around 1 trillion. If the government can take, let's take 1 billion to finance a particular agricultural product for every state. That is the West, and are famous for their cocoa. East is famous for, palm oil. And the North, the famous granite pyramid.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it's now a driving school. That particular region is now a driving school. So if the government
centers have done
if the government can actually do this, believe you me, unemployment will be reduced drastically.
Yes,
true. There's just a lot that the government are not really putting in place. Like this whole system, this whole unemployment thing, it's because of the government. And I think the truth is we should actually watch who we put into power.
Yes.
To you, listener, watch who you put into power, because these are the people that will run the system for like 4 years coming, and you sell your destiny for not doing one particular thing right. So let's watch this. That's the only way we could start reforming this whole government system.
And also, it's not that we are saying the government are not trying. They're really trying, but we need them to do more things.
Do more,
please.
Do more. We are crying. Shakespeare said, if you take the source of his living, then you've actually taken his life. We are basically saying all these things from our hearts and pouring our hearts out because it's something that is really bothering us. We are really tired.
Yes.
Have you never tired?
We don't tire. We tire.
So we are really tired.
That's what we're trying to say. It's okay.
To graduate, they fear me.
There was a time in my life before I graduated, I was scared of graduating, because how will I graduate and be seeking for a job? At least the small change we house they send, they make sense for boys. But once you go out, you start seeking for a job, because I've seen people, close friends, family relatives, come walking up and down, see their shoes as eating, all in the world, searching for jobs.
Our sleeper don't chop. Allow us chop. Okay, thank you all my fellow advocates. A quick recap before we leave the studio. We actually talk about a problem really bothering us, which is youth unemployment. We also looked at the solutions, and we are basically saying there are things to really do to reduce the rate of unemployment. We can get into power and look into stuffs like this. The creative sector has not been really employed very well. We could look into the creative sector. When I say the creative sector, I mean music, tech. And there is this so much tendency in tech that one app could employ 100 people, 100 graduates. So I urge you all to basically go out there and speak against this. This advocacy podcast was proudly brought to you by Street Project Foundation and Enugu Youth Entrepreneurship Network, supported by Voice. There are other episodes of the advocacy podcast. Go check them out. And a big thank you to our podcast curator, Mr. Femi D. Amale. Thank you and goodbye.
Open doors, you self go be a boss. Amen.